Well, TLC, I'll see you in hell. Y'all, I don't know if I'd said I'm happy I'm here, but I'm happy to be here with these two people. Not really Maddie. But y'all, it's Reality Gaze. We're doing a crossover with Married to Reality. This is John and Tereza. Hello guys.
Hello.
Married to Reality Gaze. That's the
Married
collab name.
to Reality Gaze.
Boy,
I like it.
And we are here.
John does not want to be married to Reality Gaze.
No. Well,
I'll take that over married to my son or married to my mom or whatever the alternative is.
I think that was what the guy who came up with this pitched first.
Was, hey, help, I'm fucking my mom.
No. Here. I've thought about this a lot. Here's the only reason.
Before we jump in, you should tell people. Some people that blindly let some woman named
are covering.
There's a special episode. I'm gonna listen. It doesn't know what MILF Manor is.
A special episode of the TLC Frankenstein monster called MILF Manor, which is not a 30 Rock parody like I thought of MILF Island or anything like that. I just want to say one thing about how the show. We won't elaborate on the twist yet, which everyone could probably see coming. But the 8 gorgeous MILFs, otherwise known as moms I'd like to flagellate.
I'm glad you said that, Poodle, because I'm just going to put it out there. 30 seconds before we join, Tereza goes, what does MILF stand for anyway?
There's no word in Czech for MILF.
So there is.
There is.
Okay, American Pie. Remember
Yes.
Jennifer Coolidge? Is it how you pronounce her name?
Yeah, Jennifer
She
Coolidge.
was the MILF, right?
She was the MILF.
So it was a big movie in the Czech Republic.
Yes.
With it had the Czech dubbing, right? So they created a Czech version of MILF, and it's the same thing, just different letters.
So how would you say it in Czech?
Elaborate.
Friff or something like that.
So in Czech, it's MCBP, like MCBP, and it's literally the same. It's Mama, co bych prcal, aka like whatever you just said.
I like Teresa's like Yara on the last episode of the Tella. Like, what are these American sayings?
So yes, apparently MILF is the same and translates to any language.
Any language.
It's universal.
These MILFs think they are there to kind of get their start again and find love, and they're going to date a younger man. The men, however, are the twist. We're going to get to that in a second.
Yes.
But I was thinking about this, guys. You know, I always think, because we pitch shows sometimes, and I was thinking to myself, how did this get pitched? And I all I can think of is a producer is at home and it sees his kid reading like Oedipus Rex and goes, "What's that?" The kid goes, "We're reading this thing about this guy who kills his father and marries his mother." And the dad goes, "Wait, could we make a show? Chuck all the father crap. No one likes the violence, but could we take the incest stuff and like low key it, and then have the kids compete and kind of want to fuck their mom?"
So let me just say, it hit me as I was thinking about this. I think the weirdest part is it feels like a family vacation.
Yes!
Dad's not there because they've divorced or they've died. But in the back of your mind, you go, Dad is still involved. So you feel like almost like mom's cheating or something. Like Dad's gone. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, Dad's still in the picture.
It is a family fuckball. Everything feels like someone's cheating on someone, and the ethical rules or just if any rules are being kind of rewritten and trampled on.
And as my wife loves to remind me, it's legal. It's legal.
It is legal. They're not banging.
Legal in the Czech Republic.
Is it illegal to fuck your mom?
It's not. Oh my God.
Well, what she's saying, she is being the good, enlightened European who's like, oh, y'all Americans are just so prudish about everything.
Well, but seriously, that's something to think about. Don't know. I mean,
I think
it's not legal to bang your mom. Yeah, we have incest in Europe.
Fuck your mom.
Maddie, you don't want that on your Siri.
Yes, that's true.
But I'm saying it's the low-key incestuous vibes that are present by y'all. Here's the thing: if you didn't know what the twist was, spoiler alert, they're their sons, and the sons are gonna compete to see who can fuck the other MILFs. But don't fuck your mom, but just fuck all the other MILFs. And the moms are going to try to fuck the other sons because it pisses the other women off.
So,
go ahead, Teresa.
I was just going to say, so we're watching this, right? And we kind of didn't really know what's going on. We kind of heard that, okay, there is going to be this twist. Their sons are going to show up. So we're watching. And then the big unveiling, they're the sons. And I'm like, holy shit. And Johnny's like, oh, no. They're here to help the moms pick the guy.
John.
And I'm like, come on. So we're watching.
Summer child.
Like 20 minutes in, I'm like, no, this is happening, John. No. The guys are gonna come. They're there. The sons are there to help the moms. And I'm like, they're not. 40 minutes in, Johnny's like, holy shit, it's happening.
I kept checking the time, like, they got to make the turn by now. I literally thought the show was, okay, we're going to joke. You're going to date the sons. But just kidding. You're actually going to help your mom find a younger guy. You'll go hang out with him. You'll go have drinks with him. You'll get the dirt on him. You'll report back to your mom.
No,
which is a less cringy show, I think.
It's something that a human being would come up with. As opposed to, if there was a human being who came up with this concept, I'm thinking about leaving the human race and seeing if lichens are available or sloths.
Poodle, say what you want, but this is our fault, our collective fault. Our friends listening, the sissies, us. Like we said, seeking sister wife, not enough. Love is Blind, not enough. And we kept pushing it, and so they delivered. This is our fault.
We wrought. We said, give us more trash. Give us more offensive trash. And TLC, or who I thought this guy worked for, the actual devil, said, here's some garbage for you. How do you like your low-key incest vibes? And we all go, this isn't what we wanted. But maybe it's what we deserve.
I think what makes it a little more bearable is the fact that they don't know each other. It's not like, oh my gosh, like my mom's group from school are hanging out, we're going to Mexico, and then all the sons or friends are there. Like they don't know each other. Yeah.
It's still kind of like trying to fuck your mom's friend, though. that should have been the tagline of the show.
And so let's kind of actually we're going to talk about the first part on our feed, and then part 2 it's going to be on John Teresa's feed. So jump around, kids. But the way I want to talk about, I knew that probably it was going to be the sons just because maybe we knew because we watched so much trash. But if you're not a reality TV aficionado, but I think you have to be, because I don't know the layperson who just stumbles upon MILF Island. I feel like you've got to seek it out.
This is for true garbage eaters.
So if you think about that audience, even as I started to be like John for a little bit, and a part of me started to say, as we're seeing this women going, wow, they actually cast like normal women, some women with normal bodies, some women that look pretty, like a woman from my hometown. And then that part of the back of my mind said, wait a minute, a show called MILF Island would never cast these type of women if it wasn't for it'd be like women from back in the Get Your Groove, Back in the Groove, like they were all fucking models. And I went, something's going on here. And then when it hit me, do you know how hard it was for these casting people to cast hot moms and then try to cast hot sons? But it fails because this reveal, I think, will go down as one of the most awkward reveals, because did you notice how none of them even really fully reacted to the reveal? They just kind of all stood there like someone shit their pants and they didn't want to point to who did it.
Well, you have to imagine, as soon as that door slid open, the odds of you, unless they arranged it that way, but the odds of you spotting your mom first is probably not good. You have a 1 in 8 chance, right? So you see Kelly,
Hot
or you
MILF.
see, and then you're like, oh shit, and then you go, Mom. So like, there's this. I went through the 5 stages of grief watching this.
What if you checked out your mom first before you realized it was your mom? What if you went, those are hot tits, Mom?
Right. Because they were plying him with pina coladas and tequila shots before they got out there.
My theory is, and I think this is pretty much I think this is exactly what happened, because they kind of suggested it. Both of them knew that, I guarantee you, casting went out for mother-son teams to go to do a dating show.
They thought it was going to be your show, John. I bet that's what they thought.
And maybe that's how they cast it, because I could swear I didn't come up with that. I swear I read it somewhere. Oh, they're casting for a show where the sons help the moms or something.
And they thought what would happen is, halfway through, the sons would come over to there, and then they would be dating the girls, and the moms would judge the girls they were dating, which seems reasonable. But what happened is this horrible Frankenstein monster of incest.
There was a moment, I think it was Joey, Kelly's son, where Joey was saying, every time I bring a girl home, my mom gets the final say on whether she's good for me or not. And I was like, this is it. This is the layup to then put the twist. Okay, now the son.
That was such a straight sports metaphor, and I'm here for it.
And I was like, well, Joey looks like a guy who's been hit in the head too many times with a lacrosse stick. So he is your jock on the show.
We'll talk about some of these people.
Also, he's just 20, and that's why they're in Mexico, so everyone can
they're
drink.
So young.
They are in Mexico, so that way they don't get sued. 100%.
Even the ones who are like 30 look young and feel young. I just have to say, Maddie, you said you thought this show was going to be okay. I knew it wasn't by this sentence. My name is April Jane, and I'm in my 50s. Said bye, and I went, okay, I'm in it.
I'm a fitness instructor,
Jay, and I'm in my 50s, and I'm a trainer.
And a singer.
And a singer.
I don't think
love her.
I have an extremely high libido.
I wonder if my son knows I have a very high, extremely high. Should I say extremely? I mean, I want to like shove a traffic cone in my pussy.
Wow. I'm glad I was on our show and not theirs. April Jane.
I love her. I love April J. I love her.
April J. She looks like someone we would see in LA who's 59 years old. She's had some work done. Good work. She's had work done, but she's got no woman in Oklahoma who's 59 years old has this body.
She's got Rachel Zoe pickle mouth, which is like where it's just like she's sucking on something sour all the time. She's had so much done to her mouth.
Well, she probably had a lot of her buccal fat removed.
Yeah. But I will say she's not as objectionable as Kelly is. Kelly, which is spelled like Kel, like Zell.
No Y.
Without a Y.
April, I just want to say April, she was married and her husband was like 7 years younger, right?
Yes.
And then they divorced, and it's got to be because he aged out, right? Okay, he got too old, and now she's like, you can dissect all of these women and go, I see, and it gets sad. We'll get to one of them who lost, I think Paula.
The next one we meet. Yeah.
Paula, she lost her husband when she was like 23, right?
She's 48 from Mexico City, but lives in Miami. But yes, she lost her child when she was really young, and she ended up raising her son and her daughter like all by themselves.
And it
was Paula. I'm getting this wrong. That's not the one at 23. Her husband, you said, lost her child.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Charlene.
She
died.
Charlene.
Charlene.
That's Charlene, an extra from The Sopranos.
We'll get to Charlene.
We'll get to Charlene. I have a lot to say about Charlene.
I want to ask y'all about this.
Should have never been on this show.
That's what I'm saying. Charlene is the mom. Charlene looks like she has a gum and a water bottle in her purse.
Yeah, Charlene doesn't want to be on this show. Like that's the deal. It's half the people don't want to be here, but we're gonna get to that. So
Charlene's trading casserole recipes with the PAs.
She makes mean meatloaf.
Mean meatloaf. And Paula is gorgeous too.
She is.
But when she comes out, you hear April J say, well, I wanted some guys to be here, but she comes out, but that's okay. She has nothing on me. And then I went,
nothing on me.
oh, that's what this show's going to be. This show isn't going to be about back in the group. This isn't going to be a show.
That's
the thing that bothered me the most about all of this was this show literally is like, how can we pit older women against one another to fight over young men
make them
and
seem
not
desperate?
Like, what is learning about this? The Learning Channel. What is learning?
Honey, it's
from
not
this?
been about learning for some time now.
It's the Libido Channel.
Yes.
They should rebrand.
They should rebrand. I mean, this one is like they're trying to find a man, yet they're watching their sons trying to prevent from finding a woman.
Who is it more awkward for, do you think? Is it more awkward for the moms or the sons?
The sons.
I think the sons.
I think it's got to be more awkward for the sons, but there's something that happens with some of the sons that take to it like a duck out of water, like Jimmy. Now, I think that I think growing up with So Young must have been quite scarring. Who has zero boundaries, by the way.
Are you just trolling us with this name, So Young? Like,
I know. She's like, I'm so young. She's Asian. She says, I'm so young and horny. And I went, oh, God.
This was in where, John, you were probably, I was like grief stage 3 at this point after watching. And I was like, I have to keep going. There was one point where I just went, I'm going to need another drink.
No, I was still bargaining. I was going, they're going to make the turn. They're going to make the turn.
I was like, no. I'm like, this is it. And he was like, no. They're going to help the moms. I'm like, okay, like you live your dream over here.
So I got to say
shows like this in the Czech Republic all the time.
was it just me? So be honest, y'all, because y'all, I admit we have one of our Patreon tiers. It's called the cringe tier, and that is truthfully because of me. Like I made Jake start watching these Extreme Sisters Smothered.
It was not a choice that I wanted to do. It was
not a choice, but then he got a bit invested, and so
still too grossed out by some of them.
I was so I will admit at this point, when we're still meeting the women, I'm still into this. I still think this is just going to be a great train wreck. Where either of y'all, okay,
I know where it's
with me.
I know where it turned for you. I think I know where it turned for you.
We'll talk about that. John wasn't even into it because he was still on another show. He thought he was watching Candyland.
He's too nice for this.
I was fine until
this world.
Until they started rubbing their sons down. That's when
that's when it turned. That was where it happened.
That's where it turned.
That was where I went. I need some kind of like digestif or some milk of magnesia.
I said the bit's gone on too long. If this is a bit, like this is the show. We have to accept it.
I'll tell you what, it was easier to watch this than Love After Lockup. Like I cannot watch that show.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that's our favorite show.
I cannot watch it. It bothers
love
me.
It.
What does it bother you? What bothers you? It's literally our favorite show that we cover.
No way. I can't watch it. It's just like all these like people like who left the prison, and I'm like, I wish they were trying to rebuild their lives actually. And they're on this reality TV, and it's not going too well.
We didn't watch that. We watched roommates or
no. Love during lockup. Love during lockup.
The roommates are
inmate to roommate.
Inmate to roommate.
Oh,
that's what we watched.
Yeah,
that's a whole different bargain.
I can't watch that.
That show was dark.
That show was bleak.
I had to watch every episode. But that show is different. I agree with you. I had a hard time. I watched it to see the people who were taking these people into their homes, what monsters they could be. But that show had a dark soul. I don't think there will ever be another season, but I watched every episode and I hated myself.
There shouldn't be another season or like maybe a crossover with Dateline, but that's about it.
But to the cringe question.
Oh my gosh, I know what you're gonna say.
I've never cringed at a show. This is the only show I've actually ever physically felt sick watching. And adults adopting adults to me was Saturday morning cartoons compared to this.
That was messy and gross.
This was I could watch that and fall asleep. This compared to this.
Wow.
It is the incest vibes that are right underneath the surface. It hits us at our most primal that we see someone and something in us goes, "Don't fuck that. It looks like your mother." And then we go, because there'll be problems. If I fuck my mother, that's bad.
Even porn goes, "We're going to do stepmom."
That's true. That's true.
I can't fuck my mother.
No, not gay porn. There's so many.
Porn, you
there's
can
so
fuck
much,
your dad.
in gay porn, you
It's
fuck
really
your dad.
bad.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It started with. Although I will say, there's a lot more gay porn that says, "Oops, I fucked my stepson."
Which, you know what? You can kind of blame the Czech Republic for that, Teresa. Just so you know.
Yeah, I think it was you guys who told me there is a lot of like Czech gay porn.
Yeah.
It's only the center of the world in the 90s was Czech porn called Bellamy. Do not Google it at work.
Do not Google it at work.
And the illustrious twins who fucked one another. That was a big deal. I watched it.
Wow.
I think I'll pass on this one, but thank you.
Hey, they go wild. The gay community in the Czech Republic goes wild. Trust me, I've been at some clubs in Prague.
Oh, I trust you. The Czech Republic can be wild.
It's wild.
So we get a little bit. We meet April. She's 43.
April 2.
April 2. April W.
April J.
She's wearing this horribly gingham red shirt. She looks like Laurie in the musical Oklahoma.
Thank you.
But it's funny when she says, I'm just dating guys and they're just in pawpaw mode. And I went, like Paw Patrol? What do you mean pawpaw? And then I went, oh no, you're so old that she's not that old. She's our age, but she's talking about grandpa. They're in grandpa mode. And I went, that's where a part of me went, this isn't going to be good. And then John, no, Teresa, because you're a woman, how would you describe Charlene, age 46 from New Jersey?
The wrong show.
Okay. Charlene is a mom. She's a mom. She probably drives a minivan. As I said, she has gum and a water bottle in her purse. Like, she picks you up from practice. She picks you up when you're drunk. She grounds you for 2 days.
She does pick you up when you're drunk.
That's Charlene. What is she doing on the show?
This necklace is for my daughter who died last year.
Like, the daughter is like spinning in her grave. Like, what are you doing, mom?
But she's like, "Oh, I'm doing this for my daughter. I'm gonna bang a guy who's the age my daughter was when she died. This is for her." It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, that they met.
I'm gonna
Charlene.
bang a twink for my dead daughter.
That's what we do.
That, like, some guy like with a bald spot with just a horrible comb over his cigar is interviewing Charlene as a producer, and one of the other executive producer, Charlene, she tells the story and goes through all the trauma of losing her daughter. And she walks out the door, and the associate producer looks at that man and says, "So you're really going to do this to her?" And the guy through his cigar goes, "She's perfect, Ronnie, perfect.
She's MILF number 6.
Number 6. What?"
I mean, honestly, it must be also...
story is gold.
It must be hard to like find like a hot mom who has a good-looking young son, but who's also into young guys. Maybe they just ran out, and there was Charlene.
I think her and her son got lost at the airport, and they just wound up. They thought they were going to Senior Frogs.
Oh, that's what they thought they were going to Senior Frogs. Oh God, I remember that. Now, John, how would you describe Kelly, or who's 50, or as she calls her alter ego, Disco Mommy?
this is your classic MILF, Maddie. I
This
mean, when you
is your
think
classic MILF.
when you
I
think
agree.
MILF,
Classic MILF, I agree.
you think Kelly, and she's the apple of every guy's eye there, as is to be
Is she?
expected. Well, you settle down over there, Tereza. Let me fantasize. But my main question, my main question, and I'm sure maybe Jake has an answer because I feel like in college his nickname was Disco Daddy. But why is
more
her
like Disco Baby?
why is her nickname Disco Mommy? That makes zero. She didn't explain.
Because she's trying way too hard to be relevant and edgy, and it's laughable.
Because she doesn't realize she loves house music. So she goes to, she's 50 years old and she goes to fucking raves, y'all.
And she's a joke.
She's from Orange County. She
tells you everything you need to know.
She's a horrible, rich, white, blonde, Orange County privileged woman
with a horrible horsehair ponytail,
who doesn't realize that disco isn't even a relevant form of music anymore. She does kind of look like, to me, kind of like Kathy Griffin's slutty sister.
I wrote down Nikki Glaser in 15 years, and I say that with love.
Oh, that's being rough, but
I say that with love.
Maybe 20 years. But
maybe 20. If Nikki Glaser like really smoked a lot. Because y'all, Kelly, there's a bar where they're all sitting and Kelly like goes behind the bar. She's just extra at first. And we meet this woman named Shannon who's 50, this really beautiful black woman. And I thought Shannon at first, because she was like, Kelly's too much personality. And I thought Shannon was going to be the prude, but she actually is one of the women who kind of like lets loose later on.
We have one person who did say, I'm not going to say this person's name, but like, oh my God, my boss and I work with Shannon. And we are mortified she's on this show.
When were they mortified? Were they mortified when she went,
I think that, and I'm glad that they can have a little fun with it. I wish it were campier? Yes. I think, and do I wish that they weren't pitting the women against each other? It feels fine to pit the sons against each other. I kind of get it. But the women against each other feels really bad.
It does. And just... Yeah.
Also, I want to just make a point. Kelly has 6 kids, and she said, I get a lot of judgment from people who say I have 3 different kids from different kids from different fathers. I'm like, you live in Orange County. How is that possible? Everyone's got 1 or 2 starter wives.
It's true. She does say, why would I have multiple kids from the same guy? Hello.
But like, she talks about it like it's like a scarlet letter for her. And I guarantee you, there's like one person in her kids' class whom their parents are married, but only once. So I guess I think she's trying to be a martyr, and they all tried to probably give them an interview where they need to talk about something a misconception about them, and that was the one she came up with because her life is fine.
She's living her best life, like literally. I think she's the one who's like embracing this from the second they showed the sons.
She wants the villain. She wants the villain slot.
They created this show for her.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
They did. They did.
In hell.
But like, let's say this is like, this is gonna work, right? Some of them will fall in love, right? let's say that's the case. Some of them will fall in love with the sons, right? In a couple of years, it's gonna be a Jenny Summit situation that the dude, he's gonna want to have kids, and the parents parents won't disapprove because they're there, so they'll know. Anyways,
maybe that's a loophole
situation.
I think the kids are just liking that they can have condomless sex because these women have already had menopause, so they don't have to worry about, like, they can just raw dog it and just do whatever they want.
I wouldn't raw dog it with Kelly.
I just want to say one more thing about y'all. We are barely through the descriptions of the women. We haven't even introduced one yet. Charlene is already like, I got on the wrong shuttle bus.
And the women, I feel bad because they're going for Charlene. They're like, I don't know, maybe she was looking 20 years ago, but she doesn't really.
April W said, I bet she was pretty when she was younger. And I was like, shut up.
Charlene's like the only natural one there, and she's still pretty. So
Charlene makes a mean manicotti. I'm going to tell you that now.
I think she's pretty. But meanwhile, she's saying it, and Kelly's going around, I've got the best trainer in Orange County, everybody. You should use them. And they're just going,
meanwhile,
what the fuck?
April J is a trainer, and she's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Her reptilian voice.
No, Charlene is like a normal looking woman, like normal
she's
mom.
a normal looking, I think.
Yeah.
She's the one I'd have drinks with.
She looks like 3 of my best friends' moms. Like
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's a normal mom.
Yeah,
I think so Shannon says that she's a corporate event planner. She's like, she used to be an around the way girl, y'all. She was like on the blog.
B girl. She was like
B girl. She's like, so I'm not prude, but we finally meet Stephanie.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite.
I want to say more than Charlene. Stephanie's on the wrong show because she full on starts talking about Jesus and that Jesus brought her to MILF Island.
This is one of those girls. This is one of those girls who protected their virginity but did anal.
Yes, that's the loophole.
Yeah. John's heard. He doesn't know.
The loophole.
He's only heard that.
She totally took advantage of the anal loophole here.
That was
you
my
guys heard.
excuse.
Sorry to derail this, but I just heard this. I need to bring it up. And who better to bring it up with than
who
you
better
guys?
to bring it up with to two bags? Yeah.
Hump jumping, or it's a Mormon technique. It's not soaking.
It's not soaking.
Jumping.
Hump jumping.
Soaking is when you just put it in there and you don't.
So you do that. You do that. You're laying on a bed. And then you have a friend jump on the bed, so that creates the motion.
Oh, I've heard of that, but I didn't know that's called hump jumping.
Maybe it's not, but
well, who's the friend?
We'll talk about it later, Tereza.
Well, here you just Joey, be a good boy and jump on the bed for mommy.
Jump for mommy.
Jump humping.
Humping.
Humping. I'm going to.
That sounds like a 3-way because they're still kind of watching you fuck somebody.
Yes.
No, you're right. Jump humping is when a third person jumps on the bed. Okay.
You gotta love a good loophole.
Did you say this is like a Mormon tactique?
Technique, yes.
Okay.
It's a technique that they use so that way they're not committing the act of premarital sex.
Yes.
Because if I put my penis in your gooter, but I don't push back and forth with my pelvic muscles and gravity, the same way, like if we do this and the big one comes and an earthquake happens, then God wanted us to have hump jumping. It wasn't my
This is too crazy. I need to crack a beer for this.
Yeah. You know what? You're going to get it when it comes to Mormons and sex. You're going to get some crazy shit.
And I'm obsessed with all types of Mormon sex. So I'm so glad you told me about jump humping.
Hump jumping.
I'm glad to enlighten you guys.
Jumping. God.
And so, yes, Stephanie with a Y.
It's God's plan.
Says, I've always been a believer. And God leads me here that y'all.
God's got this.
This is the only time we see her.
Yeah, right. I think moving forward, we're going to be seeing Kelly, Paula, a little bit of April J, a little bit of Charlene.
So. Is that all the women?
There are 8 of them.
8 of the women. Yeah.
That's 8 of the women. Okay.
I think you're right. I think we're going to see Charlene. We're not going to see a lot of the others because there's going to be a lot of competition, as we see later this episode, between certain people's sons and certain mothers, and it starts to get really antagonistic. Y'all, should we break and go? Since we just talked about the women,
we'll talk about the
men, aka the sons.
But John and Teresa, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, thank you.
Go for it, John.
We're Married to Reality. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Patreon now, patreon.com/married to reality. We do 90 Day Fiance. We do Married at First Sight. And on the Patreon, it'll be Darcy and Stacy.
Oh, yes. We can't wait.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
And we just did Love in Paradise.
Yes.
That's the best.
What a season.
Isn't it the best?
The best season of reality television I've seen in a year or two, probably.
What a season. You got Gabby and Abby and Frankie.
Unbelievable. Okay, so let me get your take on it. I think Frankie was scamming. I think Frankie told Abby, hey, we'll get Gabby, don't you worry. And so she was like, all right, I'll come over and then we'll get Gabby. Tereza thinks Abby was scamming.
Everyone.
That's what Maddie thinks.
Listen, speaking of MILF Manor, Abby and Gabby are mother and daughter. Convince me otherwise. It's like the movie Heartbreakers with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's a plan.
And I said that Gabby is a sea witch who controls the oceans.
She's out of control.
And the way she would talk.
When she cries, Abby, I will call off my hermit crabs to pick your bones.
She just talked to her and says, like, how could you do this to me? Well, the seas turn in the ocean, the wind blows, and my love for you is dead.
And her hair is so wild, like she's just come out of the ocean.
It's true. Yeah.
She's a sea witch.
But
amazing season.
Amazing. I was just going to add her hair. Like in those interviews, she looked like she's 30 years older.
I know.
Like, what is it? Like, would you put a wig on top of her?
It's the bad wig.
I have a question for y'all. How long did you walk around your house just going, she looking so sweet, right down to her ass cheeks?
You know what, y'all? It is gay rights. It is gay rights to have an episode called the Trouble with Two Tops. That is gay rights. Now, I think they renamed it for airing on TLC, but still, the fact that gay sex was talked about on a mainstream streaming channel show, that's a win, I guess. So.
I learned a lot. I'm not even joking. I learned a lot.
I think you had to because they said it every time they were on. When I say a top and a bottom, I mean I put my penis in him.
Penetrative and receptive. And Jake and I are watching this going, boom.
I mean, you got that fat ass. You can't just leave that fat ass out there. It's like, all right.
I will say it's still representation is representation, as we've said. So sure. It is still amazing that it's actually more amazing that anyone can watch Valentine with that hair thing on that hair.
Oh my God!
And not die laughing.
It's pretty bad.
That's a choice, right?
Yeah, it's a thing. Jake called it Lego hair, and he was right.
It's like
this whole
flip it on,
and then they cut it to where they fade it on the side, so it looks. But it was just a really bad fade, and it was also too close on his head and to give him no forehead.
Legendarily bad.
But a beautiful story arc. Love that proposal was better than any proposal we've ever seen on reality television.
A good proposal. It was.
Are they still together? I would die to know.
Tereza looked it up and we couldn't find any.
I tried to Instagram dig and it seems like they're not, but there is nothing out there. So I was trying to find articles and some people are saying, well, they're no longer together because they deleted their engagement photos unless they're playing it cool because they'll be on a different season. So
isn't Danielle going to be a hot mess though?
Yes. Danielle and Johan.
They were the kind of the messiest, most 90-day like on that season, and so because everyone else just is wild. But as soon as Amber and Daniel, maybe they wanted it, but maybe they'll do one other spinoff. But we hung out with them in Tampa, and
we were there.
You were there.
You were there.
Jake,
I forget
you were
about that.
drunk.
Oh my God,
Jake, you got so drunk.
They were so
you almost fucked
Ashton,
the friend.
Oh, honey, we would have just rubbed assholes together. There was then when she lost her phone, and it was she's like, I lost my phone.
That's what we said. We were like, as much as they portray them as these drinkers and these partiers, I was like, That's authentic. That checks out.
They
No.
were exactly that.
Well,
Yeah.
Amber
Yeah.
is the party
Oh, she
girl.
is exactly like she is. She was so much fun, and Daniel's exactly like he's like, yeah, I'm just hanging out here dancing.
Great. Daniel's hot. All right. Okay.
Anyway.
But we've got people we don't really want to talk about
We've
on
got
the other podcast. Y'all, thanks for listening. We'll see you on part 2 on Married to Reality.
Come over.